Cinnamon ferns are multicellular organisms made of eukaryotic cells. In those cells there are chloroplasts, which are incredibly important for any organisms in the kingdom Plantae, as it is how they get enough energy to grow and flourish. This is what makes them autotrophs or producers.
But its cellular functions aren't limited there. It goes through cellular respiration and photosynthesis, and very slow movement as a response to moving light, such as the sun going from east to west. The chloroplasts of the cell produce chemical energy for cellular respiration by collecting water and carbon dioxide and energy from the sun. The chemical energy powers cellular respiration, which in turn allows a plant to move by the cells growing and shifting. Cinnamon ferns also possess specialized cells in certain tissues, including a vascular system with xylem and phloem for conducting water and nutrients. Sporangia, which are specialized structures that produce spores, which are attached to the fertile fronds, the central orangey stalk of the fern. They also have unique structures like the sporangial annulus and fertile fronds.
The cinnamon fern can be found across North America, mostly on the eastern areas in wetlands like bogs, streams, rivers, banks, lakes, or swamps. They need wet, shady areas and can survive flooded areas and acidic soil. They're very widespread across Canada and the rest of North America. The cinnamon fern is a producer and therefore doesn't eat, but it still consumes nutrients and energy. Some pests and fungi can target cinnamon ferns, including fungus gnats, fruit flies, spider mites, mealybugs, and insects. But other herbivores such as deer, rabbits, or fowl have been seen eating them if necessary, although they aren't a main food source.
The cinnamon fern has a large sporing tower made of fertile fronds that helps it reproduce in the wet areas it lives. Cinnamon ferns employ several strategies to ensure their survival, including vegetative reproduction via rhizomes, fire tolerance, and adaptation to specific environmental conditions. They also utilize a mutualistic relationship with beneficial insects, which is beneficial in terms of their growth. The cinnamon fern can live for nearly half a decade, or so about 20 to 50 years, and in which time it faces many obstacles that would kill weaker plants, such as wildfires, droughts, floods, storms, and other natural disasters, as well as predator increases and the destabilization of habitat.
The cinnamon ferns reproduce through spores located and spread throughout the central tower, or fertile fronds, which take on a cinnamon color and are where the cinnamon fern gets its name. Every year they start growing back up as fiddleheads, then expand and grow their fronds from the center of the plant. The fertile fronds grow and start to release spores, which spread and then are ready for the next year's spring.
I'm
not saying that you already said that.
Okay, whatever. We'll just go. Yeah. Did you get all that about the cinnamon ferns?
Except the part where Isaac was talking. Bald eagles are multicellular eukaryotic organisms. For animals, the nucleus is especially important as it contains the genetic material that controls all cellular functions.
Their cells provide structure, absorb nutrients, and replicate using cell division.
Bald eagles have specialized cells that contribute to their exceptional vision and senses, such as modified cone cells, which allow sharp day vision, Erbsen Ruffini cells that sense vibration, texture, and pressure changes, stretching, distorting, and temperature changes in the beak and tongue, and neurosecretory cells that release hormones that regulate various psychological functions.
Bald eagles live across North America, although prefer lakes and other water habitats to support their diets.
Bald eagles are very widespread across Canada and furthermore North America. They tend to enjoy fish, although they'll settle for other small rodents or carrion. They will also steal food from other birds of prey like osprey.
Bald eagles are eaten by other bald eagles, owls, and large carnivorous mammals like bears. The bald eagle is a consumer and the apex predator on the 4th level of the trophic pyramid as a tertiary consumer.
Which means that they're way better than cinnamon ferns.
Wow. Yeah.
Right, Jiminy Cricket?
Yeah, but cinnamon ferns have been around for 220 million years compared to your measly one.
And yet they're still stuck as producers. You know, they really got get handed the short end of the stick. Bald eagles. Bald eagles have feathers to help with flight and protection from the elements, small spikes on their feet to grip fish easier, and sharp beaks for ripping apart prey. Eagles perch on high objects like trees and perches and use their keen eyesight to spot prey, which they will swoop down and catch. They choose trees or cliffs to build their nests on to protect their eggs and have good visibility, and they'll normally reuse nests. Bald eagles are able to stay mostly safe by using high vantage points, minimizing potential predators and making it easier to catch prey.
The bald eagles lay eggs. They go through 4 stages: egg, nestling, juvenile, and adult. Bald eagles reproduce sexually once a year, producing those eggs. They interact with their prey by hunting.
All of the bald eagle's interactions are competitive or predatory, with the exception of mating. They allow the bald eagle to feed or cause trouble for it. Bald eagles help maintain the balance in population. There would likely be a surplus of fish and other low-level consumers if the bald eagle was removed, as well as a decline in carrion, which would affect scavengers, detritivores, and lower-level consumers.
The bald eagle is also not a keystone species and would be replaced by other birds of prey and predators. However, that wouldn't be for a short while, again, a few years, similar to the cinnamon fern. They suffer from habitat loss and pollution, but are expected to be alright. They face problems with illegal shootings, as well as power line electrocution and habitat destruction. They used to be endangered because of that habitat destruction, but have later resurged and are no longer endangered. Habitat destruction, and used to be endangered, but that is no longer the case.
You got all that?